Let's worry about it.
This gentleman, Clint Barton, also known as Hawkeye, one of the original 6 Avengers. And notice he's not in the war as it was wrapping up a continent away. He sat out in that first movie, Infinity Wars, which this is the sequel to, because he had too much to lose. He wasn't going to engage anymore. He wasn't going to put at risk the most precious thing to him, his life with his family, his wife, his daughter, his 2 sons. But how did that work out for him? He still ended up losing everything. And the reason I'm mentioning that is the main point I want us to know today that I think this movie illustrates well is there is a war raging in reality that's greater than that. It's a spiritual war. Spiritual war is raging as I speak right now. Things that we cannot see but are more real than the things we can see according to Scripture. And you say, well, when did this war start? Well, it started at the beginning, in the garden. One of the recurring things that I think Iron Man says in this movie is the real epic forces of darkness and light that are going at battle. Who knew? Well, God knows. And He wants you to know that this is a real thing. In the garden, Satan, someone created to be a messenger of God, an angel, rebelled. And then he finds his way in early on in creation. I don't think it went long before sin entered the picture by Adam and Eve sinning. And when sin entered the picture, God said, the moment you eat of that fruit, you shall surely die. It was the only command, the only negative He gave them. And when that happened, they died. You say, well, wait a minute, didn't they go on to have kids? Didn't they go on to live actually way longer than most of us will ever live? Yes, physically, but death entered the picture there. Animals had to die to cover up their nakedness. But more importantly, spiritual separation occurred. Death means separation. And unlike Thanos, when he clicked his fingers and half the population of the universe disappeared, all of creation has been affected by the sin problem that introduced death. Everyone dies. In fact, more so, every one of us were born spiritually dead. You come into this world on the wrong side of the war that's already raging before you even enter the picture. And we're in a lost position. And where do we get these concepts from? Well, one of them, Jesus Himself. In John 10, verse 10 and 11, Jesus was talking to a group of Pharisees, and in previous conversations, He already said, God wasn't their father, Abraham wasn't their father, no, Abraham's our father, and then goes, Satan's your father, because you're children of him. And He describes him as a thief, and notice what He says, the thief comes to what? Only to steal and kill and destroy. What does that mean? Well, the devil comes and he's real, and he wants to take what's not his. He wants to bring death and separation from God, and he wants to undo everything good that God does. That's the destroyer. Jesus says, on the other hand, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Amen. You see the battle there? What evil, epic force of darkness is trying to do, steal, kill, and destroy. And what Jesus has come to do and said, give us a full and abundant life. He says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. Jesus says, I am so committed to this spiritual war, I'm willing to die in the process of saving some.